Welcome into episode 73 of Coffee and Show. I'm Sleeves, joined by my co-host Padre. And today we're going to discuss the technical test in NHL 24 as things start to ramp up and we get closer to launch. So this is the first time in a long time that we are recording in the morning. This is a legitimate Coffee and Show as I hammer back some King's Coast. Dude, I am on the
My water here. That's
yeah,
about it.
I'm on
No
the
coffee.
kid sleep. The kid sleeps, bro. It's getting rough. Like
You're on the G sleeps.
it's not good, man. It's not good. Me and my wife we're getting like 4 hours in a section. Dude, the hard part to compound it for all my fellow fathers out there. The kid is okay, like, cause like he's got to eat, he's got to poop, all that, and he fidgets, and there's not much you can do about it, bro. When you throw in the fact that my dog will come in at like 3:30 in the morning and start to whine because she's got to go take a piss, that's where I draw the line. Now I'm like, I'm never going to get a full night's sleep again for the, like, he sleeps in a bassinet. When does that end? Like 6 months, my wife said.
Yeah, it just depends like how you do it, honestly. Because like with my daughter, we kind of did like that sleep training stuff. So she
When did
kind of
that start?
around then, yeah, and then like we did the whole cry it out thing, which is kind of miserable to listen to. Because I don't know if you're at that
I
part
can
where
do
you
it. I know I can do it. I
but
don't think my wife
you
can.
just feel
I don't
bad,
think my
yeah.
wife can, cause
And
like
it's weird because my wife, uh, should like, and it, we both like learned pretty well. Like for my first one, like if my daughter cried or now my son, she's gonna wake up and she won't be able to fall back asleep mentally until she knows they're asleep.
yeah,
So like even if I get up, like she's sitting up. So it's just like a mess.
yeah.
It's just yeah. It's you just have to like. I try to tell. I'm like just calm down. It'll be fine, and then we're gonna do this again in 2 hours.
Yes, exactly. We finally got him bottle fed, so now I can actually feed him. But like, yeah, like there's just like not much I can do, you know?
Yeah, as a dad, it's tough too, especially if they're doing like breastfeeding and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot. So, anyways, that's my life now. All the
We're
gamers out
talking.
there, yeah, all the gamers in there, like just fast forwarding this first 5 minute monologue of just being an old man. A lot of gamers. We got the NHL 24 technical test. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it, but we're gonna talk about it because everyone's been
Well,
playing it. So
this won't launch until it's over.
that's
So
true. Yeah, it'll be done by the time this comes out. So yeah. All right. How many games did you get in?
I played 6 or 7. I didn't want to overly. I mean, I don't. I didn't really have like. I mean, you were talking about this like off stream. Like I get it's HUT, and I guess I'm glad they did that so people could play around whatever with their team, even though there's an unlimited pack glitch, but or thing. I don't
That's
know, not a
by
glitch.
the way, that like thank God
That was
that's in
supposed to
there.
be in there,
It
right?
should
Yeah,
be.
like
Yeah.
I mean, people were like, "Oh, it's a glitch." I'm like, "It's not a glitch.
It
They
sucks
knew."
that it wasn't stated. It should have
Yeah,
been.
like they probably like knew it anyways. But I just was like, I think it should have been versus, just because then we could have maybe had like more of a true. Because I was telling you like some of my complaints about it, like whether it was like pass interceptions, and you're like, well, if the guys were higher, it wouldn't be like that. So it's like, well, I wish it was versus, so we had like almost more, highs and lows for overalls, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. I played 6 or 7 games, and I mean, I just want the real thing to come out.
It's fine. Yeah, like I see what you're saying there. The in terms of like the mode, like I'm glad they gave us hut like for a 1v1 mode. I haven't
Yeah.
played sixes since like I owned an LG, which is like NHL 20. So every time there's like a technical test and it's like a sixes thing, I'm just like dude, like again, we're in our 30s, so it's tough to get six of us together. You know,
Right.
it's
Mhm.
just not something that I personally can do really a lot at night. Um, and obviously for content streaming, sixes is just not the engaging mode, unfortunately. I think a bigger issue was so first, yeah, for anyone that didn't know, there was a way to get a jacked up team because I started getting messages like, how are these guys getting like a ton of all these cards? When I felt bad, I tweeted out like the first day, I was like, here's a veteran game changer thing because this is in the alpha too. For anyone that doesn't know, when the design council gets the alpha like back in June, there's every pack in the store, but they always quick sell because the values aren't set right. So when you get gold cards, they're all valued at like 1,000 quick sell, even if they're like 72s or whatever. So when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, I wonder if it works in here. So I got 5,000 coins, doing the milestones, and then I just quick sold, and sure enough, like that's how it works. I tweeted out like, hey, I want everyone on the same page here because you were going up against guys that had 72s and 64s, and it's like this isn't an enjoyable experience. You're not testing anything. This is
Oh,
awful.
oh yeah, we had our buddy Larsenist. He was ripping packs
Th-
for about 5 hours
that's
straight, and
another issue.
he was celebrating every pull he had, like he was pulling McDavid, going, yeah.
Yeah, dude, like that's the thing, like, because then not only are you just you make your team good enough, it's like then you've got the best cards, and even worse was, I guess under the hood, like some of the cards, like McDavid, I believe, for as an example, is it was his versus ratings. So what
Yeah,
you were seeing on the card, he was actually like a 97.
really.
Yeah, so it was just like this isn't a good representation of what HUD is going to be, which sucks because like obviously the technical test for everyone wants to be testing out what they're going to play, but the technical test is simply a way for game companies to essentially test and see if the thing fires on, right, and the servers don't
Yeah,
implode and things like that. It's not for testing like features and in-game things. So I played about 20 games in the technical test. I played
yeah.
10 on skill stick and 10 on total control.
Okay.
And bro, like I have no idea how to feel with the game. Like
I don't either. I
here's
don't know
my
which one I
yeah,
like more too.
here's what I've been saying on stream. This is my best way cuz I've been asked a lot about like what my thoughts on it, and it's like I enjoy the end result of the game. But how you get there, I'm not really vibing with. So what I mean by that is like I lost. I think I went 10-3 in champs, and the three losses I had are all three players that I know. So it's like, I didn't get blown out, but like they were like, if you were to look at the stats and when you play the game, I was like, yes, I can see why I lost this game, which I'm cool with. That I'm completely okay with. I like losing games like that. I'm completely okay with the losses where it's like, um, I had 17 minutes time on attack to 5, shots are like 42-7, and I lose. Didn't happen. So
Yeah,
all the games like that I would normally have lost on some random nonsense, forced pass, a glitch wrap, whatever, they just weren't happening. So I enjoyed the end result. But man, there is a lot of like all of my concerns going into the technical test, or from when I was playtesting the game, they weren't alleviated. Because there was a lot of issues. The goalies,
mm.
terrifying. What I thought would have been a massive thing, but wasn't, was reverse hitting, and
Yeah. I was going to tell you that.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't
Maybe it's
do it.
because maybe it's 'cause I'm not very good with it or something, or I just didn't think about it because I'm so used to playing like a certain way, and
Yeah,
I never really tried it, and I never really had it happen against me. So I mean,
yeah. It,
I don't
it
know.
I same. Like so, when I was in Vancouver, again, this might go to what the other game changers were saying about how it's not this isn't the build that we're using. I don't know how old this build is, to be honest. I'm playing offline. I'm not really playing against other people when I'm doing the alpha. Um, but when I was in Vancouver, and I remember Sod being like looking over beside me, and I was playing him. He's like, hit A, like when you're, or hit click in the right stick when someone's running at you, and it was like immediate. I did it first try. I was like, oh my god, and it wasn't really in the technical test. You're right, I didn't see it. So the Michigan, I hit it a couple times, never had it scored on me, not one time. Like
Yeah.
I still stand by the fact that if from all of my experience playing the game so far, the Michigan just will not be as impactful as you think.
I'm hoping
There is
that's
a
the case.
skill to it. So I hit it pretty cleanly a couple times. You have to come
Oh
in with
yeah.
speed.
Yeah.
Like you
I
if you,
I hit it like 10
yeah,
times.
like it's nasty when you get the hang of it and it actually looks good. Like I saw a lot of people get behind the net and then sit there and it's like they're literally trying to figure out the buttons to like do it. Like you could tell what they were doing, and it's just so easy to defend because it takes like a second and a half.
I use total control too for
Same.
most of my games. And
Yeah.
like my theory, here's my theory. If, and I know I saw Carpet say, you're not gonna be able to do the Michigan. Okay, whatever. If that's true, then I'll just use skill stick. If it's not, and you can still do the Michigan, or even just enough to where it makes it worth it, I'm probably gonna use total control because I don't really see a big hindrance other than changing my lines. I think that was the only thing that I felt like
That's on the
was
D pad.
was weird is I don't know if it's a hindrance or if it's just strange because I've never done it like that. You know what
There
I
is a
mean?
lot of that. Like, so I remember saying, this is gonna be a classic podcast from us because we're just gonna go all over the place. I remember saying that, like one of the things I thought would happen. I was always so curious about how everyone would react to the game, but I knew at the top end everyone would hate it. I
Mhm.
knew that because, first of all, we as humans don't like change. We do not. And when you get people that have put in, I'll be real, like there is a vast majority of the top 50 players in the world that have probably put in about 1,000 to 2,000 hours a game for the last 4 years. That's how they're the best in the world. No one just wakes up unless you're regs. All right, yeah. So like the thing I thought about that would happen once the technical test came out is that like the top players in the world would just hate it because again these guys put in 1,000 to 2,000 hours into the game, and now you've got to completely relearn how to play the game essentially. And they would all hate it. And sure enough, I haven't seen many players that have a shot at
Who's
going.
the only one that likes it? Take a wild guess.
Junior Pence has got to love
There
it.
you go.
He does, yeah, dude. So,
I think Pence could like any NHL
oh
member at
yeah,
this.
dude. Penn just loves his chill, but
He
this
was
game plays definitely
he was
towards his
giggling
playstyle.
like a little schoolgirl in my Discord, like playing the game because he had 290 hits through 10 games
But
or
yeah, so
something.
if anyone doesn't know Junior Pens is, he's a very, very good player, but he's been playing for a very long time, and he has the most frustrating play style among any top end player because it's very hit or miss. Like he'll win by 6 or lose by 9. Like it's all over the place because all he does is shoot. He just takes point shots and just shoots at all points. And obviously at the top end, that really isn't the play because you lose possession and things like that. But in this game, you know, I took 1,000,000 shots on net. Like I was probably averaging at least 30 a game, and I saw a lot of shots. Like I've never seen an NHL game where where the average shots on goal for both players is like over 20.
Did you get a lot of tip goals like you did
Ton.
last
I
year?
love tip goals, yeah, but
They're still working pretty good.
people are learning how to be more aggressive. Like,
Mm,
I think that you've got to be hella aggressive on the defensive side of things because
yeah.
one of the bigger issues is one of the kids I played was actively just trying to go for the full pressure every possession. And you can definitely offensive zone rag and pass the puck around and stuff like that, which is concerning. It definitely needs to be tuned down. I don't even mind the penalty. A lot of people are complaining that the penalty is too harsh, or the buff is too big, and then the
Too
goalie
quick.
thing. It's. I think the only way for an interesting way I'd love to see is if it only filled up via actions. So just skating doesn't
Yeah,
fill it. I
I
think
agree. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just passes around or shots on goal or turning the puck over and then you breaking it up again, like on the breakout gives you a big chunk. Those kinds of things would be pretty sweet.
It's so easy for me being like I'm not like a better player to just sit there and like essentially ozone rag somebody or
Mm-hmm.
just go D to D, go D to D, go to the guy on the half wall. I explained it to you like this off stream. It reminds me of when we were playing youth hockey at practice and we do a 2-on-2 drill and the coach says, "All right, in order to activate the third guy to make it 3-on-2, you got to pass it twice between yourselves and you got to give it to the coach and it'll activate the third guy." And that's literally what it reminds me of. So it's like this almost like you're just thinking in your brain, all right, like when's it's almost like arcadey in the sense where it's like money puck, like the guy comes on the intercom and it's like that's what it feels like almost just like this like activation of something. And I was telling you, I don't love that in the hockey aspect because hockey's such a organic and a flow sport. And I like to get like some of the developers' thoughts on it or people that are, in charge of it. I agree with what you're saying though. That might be the best fix, honestly. It's just not so much loitering around, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's definitely like I think like a big component of it is like why I think that you'll never get everyone to enjoy a game of hockey, like a video game, because what you just stated, like it's people either like the arcade stuff or they like the sim based stuff in a video game, whereas in hockey it's just a lot of luck, and
Yeah.
I think that it's very difficult to program that in and it be an enjoyable experience because the people that just like playing a game of hockey, let's say, that mimics what they're watching on TV, it's far different from people trying to play to win. Like,
Yeah.
because if you take a one timer or a wrist shot in X position, Y result needs to happen. And if it doesn't, then it's like that's not enjoyable because then you're like, man, like why isn't this working? It's random. It's you know what I mean. So you're never. That's why I think that when it comes to gameplay, I don't give feedback on it anymore, just because like it's never going to be universally enjoyed across the board. That being said, like I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier about like what I feel about the game so far. The end result is more like a hockey game, but the meat and potatoes in it is very arcade like.
Yeah,
Like
and
you
I
know what I
wish they'd
mean?
almost lean into the arcade. I told you this too. They added broken glass, broken sticks, and hitting over the boards. Like that one's, I guess, the most least of the problem. But
I got
it's
hit into the
random,
boards and I laughed. Like I was like, oh
right?
my, I forgot all about it. I was like, oh my
But
god, this is kind of good.
but those are like considered like arcadey, right? Or no, or sure no, those are considered like random RNG. So
Yeah,
it's like it's almost like if we're gonna do like the arcade thing, then like lean into the arcade thing. Like I don't care, like don't put in like because you have no clue when your stick's about to break or when you're you're gonna break the glass and you could be dominating somebody like zone time and all of a sudden boom the glass breaks. Oh great, lovely. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just I always make fun of it like with World of Chess or the World Championships. How it's like either pick an arcade or pick it for the signups and the casuals, or pick it for the most competitive people. Or like kind of. I get you're trying to do both, but with this game, it's like at this point, it's like if you're gonna have like a timer and everything, and goalies are gonna be flopping around like a fish. I mean, that's how. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. The goalies, that's just like crazy to me. But yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
and I think that one thing before I forget, like about like a lot of the sentiment from people that have like in the design council, um, I've seen pretty much every like streamer or creator that's in the design council kind of talk about how like publicly that it's a beta. We can't judge what the game because this isn't the build that we're getting. I think you have to remember like this game is going to be I still stand by this game is going to be the most different game that we've gotten in 10 years, and I think that after the technical test I'm not wrong. I think that is definitely year over year probably one of the biggest changes we've ever gotten. But I think that what we can't forget is that NHL 23 was a disaster. And you can't just be and expect people to be like, hey, don't worry, this time, even though you're not enjoying it right now, your first chance to play it, it's not this bad. It's like
Right.
how can you expect people to believe that when the game that we just got was awful in a sense? Like it was not an enjoyable experience. But it's the only hockey game we have, so we are addicted and we just play it. So I don't think that's really fair to like think of people be like, man, I love people or I hate that people are just trashing the game. It's a beta. It's like, man, this is their only experience of the game. And if it's not good, then like, what do you expect? You can't harp on people for being angry about it because it's not fair. You have no reason for optimism other than you like selfishly, if the game is the best game, I've said this a million times, if the game is the best game we've ever gotten, my numbers will do better. I would obviously love the game to be
Yeah.
universally loved. Like, obviously, like if everyone enjoys it, I am doing better, right? So I want the same thing.
It's better for your livelihood. And
Yeah,
that's the thing too.
exactly. But like if you were, your sports team is doing bad, right? You don't want it to be bad and like everyone else is just shitting on it, right? Like obviously it's tough and it's a delicate balance. It's just I personally like I don't blame anyone for not liking the current format of the game. I knew that a lot of people wouldn't like it just because change is change and people don't like change. But there was a lot of things that my biggest fear of the game is that of all the new things, so Krista might come on and they put all their focus in 24. And I think that was the right move. I don't want to call it a burn year, but that's what 23 was. And I think that it was the right move because they implemented a drastic amount of change in a year, more than we've ever seen. And it's like now that they have their baby like in the game, the fatigue system and the full pressure system and all of that stuff, right? They've got it in the game. It has to be worked throughout the year because if they just leave it again, and you can see the potential for far more broken stuff this year than in 23 because I'll be honest with you, I got across the blue line every single time and I just fired at low pad and whatever goalie was in net just flew around like he was Dominic Hasek and you just
Yeah.
bang. I did it for the first time ever. I used all four lines crash the net. All four
I
lines
was
crash
using
it.
I was using Crash too. I didn't know what to use because last year everyone did like the side of the net goal, the Polks play, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So this year which by
I
the way
scored
still
that
works.
once, but it was
It still
clean.
works. Yeah, it still works. It's
I
just
don't personally have a problem with that goal, because it requires some setup.
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
um,
I hated it last year, I think, just because everyone just sat behind the net
and
more
that will,
than
yeah, dude, because you had to
and
defend three different things from behind the net that like, there was no way to do it.
right.
But
My two I like 7 game thing. I think I lost twice. I lost to your boy Big Worthy. Um
he was
but he
grinding. I think he got his full
oh
40 in.
he was in his bagular. He was grinding hard. He had like a god spot. I was like, it's like my second game. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm playing a
That's
guy
what
that's
I
like on
felt
game.
bad about. Yeah, I felt bad
Yeah, I
about
was like,
that.
I'm playing a guy like because I think they just my first game was against a guy that was top 10 on Xbox. Not that it mattered, but it was like I was like, oh, I'm playing this guy, and then somebody in my party's like, oh yeah, he's top 10 on Xbox. I'm like, how am I getting this guy my first game? Then I get Worthy my second game, and I'm like, go figure. And the first game I played, I think I lost in overtime, or it was the second game I played, I lost in overtime, and my goalie went nuts, and I was like, what in the because I like broke it down. I watched the replay. I was like, all right, like what's going on here? Like, why is he? Maybe he screened. No, he just like low far pad save, and then just boom on his butt, and then he's like moving up and down, like like almost like that thing we saw in the trailer where the goalie's like going like this with his arms. I'm like, what is he doing? Like,
Yeah,
it,
you know what's funny? Like, so like I had so much of that. I also had a few times. I would say like maybe 5 times in the 10 games, 20 games I played. No, maybe not five, more than that, like 10 times, where it worked as intended. Where like I took a shot low far side or somewhere, like a shot got on, and I got absolutely robbed
oh
on like
really?
yeah, like so I saw it work as intended, and I was just like Jesus, like okay, and that was frustrating. But like, okay, cool. The goalie made an unbelievable desperation save. Um, and I had my goalie do it a few times too. But yeah, man, more often than not, like you're gonna see people get in the zone, sit there for forever, and then just fire low far side off the pads. And like that is going to be the game. And like if it is not touched, that is going to be the game. And it's like yikes. Like that would I think it'll lead, like I said, I think it'll lead to a better result. But the
Yeah,
enjoyment in the middle of it is not going to be good. Like it will you'll be like, "Man, cuz the wraps and stuff is frustrating cuz that isn't in hockey. Shooting a
right.
ton and just having shots go in is legitimately hockey.
Yeah,
But as a video game, like that isn't as enjoyable. Like answer me this too. They wanted to allow accessibility to Deeks and maybe I don't want to say help the casual player base out, but make all Deeks more accessible. And there's a lot that was in the game that people had no idea how to do. Like I bet you any money people had no idea how to do a hip check.
I didn't know how to do the Michigan, so it's
Yeah,
like
exactly, right? So like there's a ton going on there and like solving that problem where it's like, hey, we got to figure out how to actually let people play the game and do all the stuff that's in the game. I get that. But how many times with the total control system where you're able to pull off all these deeks way more? How many times did you actually see deeks? I saw none. I didn't do any. And
yeah I yeah
the ones that I did do, like my go-to ones, I couldn't do. I don't know if
yeah.
the skills. So backhand toe drag. So if you're coming down the wing, left-handed player coming down the right
You
side.
talking about the one that you do the curve and you
Yeah,
shoot that you did last year?
yeah.
Yeah,
I would go backhand and do a toe drag motion with total control, and my guy would line up for a slap shot.
yeah.
And I was
Oh,
like,
I found myself clicking in my right stick.
yeah.
I guess I maybe I just never
A
realized
lot
like
of
how
people do
hard.
it. A lot of people don't realize how much they click in their right stick. So if you had that where you went to go do a deke or something and you shot or made a shove, that's because you're clicking in the right stick, and it's like,
And then even if you do it on skill stick, doesn't it do something else this time now because the protect the puck button's gone or something?
yeah,
Or
like it's not.
they changed, and then they also with the hitting, that's universally changed on skill and total, right? Like you have to go
Hitting
down
is
and up
another
now.
thing, man. So it's so hitting on the skill stick,
I suck at it, dude. I'm
dude. Same.
awful
So
at it.
I'll be real with you. So
I might
the
just poke
the
check.
big benefit of the total control thing is not the Michigan and the Deeks. It's on
It's the
defense.
bumping.
It's on defense, man, because you can hit circle or B to get a hit. Right? And like that's huge because if you do that, then like that gives you the full normal hit that what you normally get, right? Whereas on the total control, you've got to do the down and up, or on the skill stick, if you do the down and up, and it's hard to time. Like it's not
Yeah.
very. So you're just doing the shove
Because
and like
it's not fluid. It's like
yeah, it's opposite. You're doing a thing that is not native to what your brain would think is the thing way to do it, right? Like
right.
you wouldn't think to go away, leave like the skill stick. You wouldn't think to go away from your opponent and then into it, right? Um,
Luckily, I'm good at pokes, so it's like maybe I'll just lean into that. And
I
I
honestly,
don't.
I think less is more. I found myself just keeping my players in position, and I found that you would stick check them, or they would lose the puck if they ran into you more.
Edmund's a beast, baby. He's
Yeah, like
he is
I would
good.
keep my players in position, and I would be aggressive. Like I think that's something that's
Right.
like Delhi is probably the best at it now. Josh was
Manual
easy. Yeah,
defense.
manual defense where like he keeps his players in position, and the second that a puck is moved, like he'll switch to the closest player and run right at you, but like in a correct way. And I think that that's the way that you've got to play defense in this game, just because you can get out of position really badly, and the goalie system, and then you can't sit in your zone. Like if you sit in your zone and play skill zone and don't attack on defense, like that fatigue meter. I don't know how many goals I scored on it. I really don't. I bet you any money that if you think back, like if you like 80% of your goals are because of the goalie flopping around as opposed to the full pressure bar.
Yeah.
Like
I'm so excited when I see the goalie fall on their end. I'm like, shoot
yeah,
it, and
that's
then
it.
like,
You
and
just
then when my
slam it
goalie's,
up.
and then when my goalie's doing it, I'm like, get up, like
Yeah,
it's so frustrating. It's like,
I
by the
don't.
way, how about this? The
Yeah,
timer on the ice.
yeah.
Me and you, I think, both agree. There's a lot going on in the ice this year. And first off, we both I think agree. Get rid of the like flashy light thing at the face-off
Oh
circle.
yeah, I don't know what that was. I said that in the alpha as well. There's a some of the arenas. The Oilers is one. The Oilers and the Stars is one that I notice a lot. But there's like this, like
They
I,
can get rid of that thing, right? I mean,
yeah,
like I
like
understand it's in the game, but can't you get like how about just maybe for the opening draw, it does it, then it cuts away, then they drop the puck.
yeah,
Or
like
so,
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
it's got to be like a seizure thing.
I mean, it's
I
wild.
have a hard time. Like I don't have
It's
I
on
don't know.
every circle.
Yeah,
Not the dots in the neutral zone, but it's on every circle it happens. So
yeah,
you got to pay attention.
and it makes watching the ref trying to drop the puck way
Oh my
harder.
god.
Yeah, like way
And then obviously like in the technical test you have your name bounced around the screen, which is
that you can't do anything about.
that you didn't about. But also me and you I think both agreed we'd like to see the timer on the ice that counts down the full pressure thing. Maybe add that to the boards instead.
Yeah, I've been pretty adamant about this too. I love the boards. I thought that like it would be lame or whatever, but um, I remember my first design council trip. Like this is like NHL 19, I think. I always mix this up. I guess it was for NHL 20 and we were in 19, but it was when they got rid of the NBC broadcast. So I got to
Yeah.
see before like my first trip was I got to see what the new broadcasting was like. And I remember when they put the scoreboard on the bottom, my first like 5 seconds into my first game with it, I was like this is like not advantageous for anyone because you're not looking like anytime that you have to take your attention away from the game, that is a net negative. So, like for example, you only play going up. I would say 99% of the player base plays going up. So, if you want to look at the time and you are on offense, you have to take your eyes off of the top of the screen to go to the bottom and then back up. Where, like, you know, beforehand, it was like right up in the top right, like a normal traditional broadcast. So, I was like, this isn't good because you never know how much time's left. You know, like you really don't when you need to. The boards, the timer in the middle, sorry, the timer in the middle, again, it's not bad and it doesn't look out of place, but I find that like I still have to take my eyes off the play to look at how much time is it left to filling up, and I find myself not even doing it. I just ignore it until I get full pressure, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't even look at it. I just because I don't want to take my eyes off the play. I'm not good enough to do that. The boards, however, it's something where it does not require a loss of attention. Where it's like you could be just playing and you don't have to look at the boards, but you know that full pressure is activated because it goes full red. It's idiot proof. You can't miss it, and I love that. I would love them to lean in more. It shows the final 10 seconds. That's another one. I think that's a good bonus too. But it'd be cool. This might be too arcadey, but if the bar just filled, like if the boards are just a and like as the full pressure bar, it like goes around the boards. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. That might be, I would like to see that a little bit, but you're getting away from the traditional broadcast. That's another thing that I think fans are really starting to get annoyed with. And so I did that GM Connected League and watching games, and there's a ton of people that just play the game like that. Like they play franchise mode, they want a realistic experience. The broadcast is just not that anymore. Like there's very little replays, and the replays now they have are like these crazy, like, like cinematic, like they almost look like 2K, where like it was like a, like everything goes black and then like fly out and do their celly or whatever, and it's like cool,
Oh,
yeah, like that's very childish, not childish. That's very um for younger players. I
yeah.
would I would love to see the numbers, so demographic, but the NHL video game has to be the oldest skewing video game for sports. Has to be.
Baseball?
No, I think more kids play the baseball game than they do. That's an interesting one, but I think it's more kids. Like I just feel like it skews.
Golf for sure.
Oh yeah, like a golf game for sure. A golf game for sure. But
But
that
hey, what you're saying about the Cellies too, to bounce off that, I don't like this thing.
that's
It's
because
one
you're
of the
old like me. Like
no
we're
no
like
no, but
yeah, like
I like Cellies, and I know there's some corny ones. Don't get me wrong. I like being able to score and do a Celly. Now it's so weird. It's like you score, there's like this little awkward delay, and then it's like black, like with the guy
yeah, the
turning the
skate out.
spotlight
Yeah,
on him, and it's like I don't even know. Am I sometimes I was like, am I doing
I
the
think if
Celly
you
or
press a button, so whatever one you press, right,
it does
it
that?
does that. Yeah,
But that was like honestly, like I know it sounds corny, but that was some like the fun in the game for a
the
long
puck
time. Was like,
chop and the dive.
well, well, just being able to do your own stuff. I mean, I remember the longest time, like in the old gen games, so like 14, you used to be able to control all your limbs, like
Yeah,
when you did sellies, and I remember you used to be able to, like point at the guy and stuff like that, and like it's just I don't. I'm just amazed like they got rid of the total control of your celly almost, and now it's like this dark like spotlight on
very
them, and it's
cinematic.
yeah, it's a little too much. And by the way, like it makes it take way longer too. It's like a delay. It's just that's another thing I think they probably won't get rid of it, but maybe at least if you're gonna turn off the lights and do the whole spotlight thing, like maybe they can at least let you control it completely.
Yeah,
Maybe they can't even do it. I don't know.
we'll see. We'll see. I do wish. I'm super curious to see how it plays at launch. Because I personally don't know. I think there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good in the game right now. Again, like I said, I think the end result better reflects how you play. And that might not be what everyone else wants. But my biggest frustration as an online player is like losing games that I feel like I had no business losing, and those happen all the time. You see them on Reddit, like like the classic like EA. It's like whatever. It's like like the 18 minutes time on attack to like 4, and you lose 2-1, right? Those will not happen at the same rate. Like it just won't because the full pressure system. Like if you're dominating and you have 2-1 time on attack, then that full pressure thing is going to go on, and more than likely you've caught their goalie flopping around at some point.
That's the two biggest things basically is figuring out a way to the full pressure system, like tinkering with it, and then goalies. I don't know if there is like I know universally from Six's goalie. I mean, there's like a whole like survey thing going on right now. I saw that Crease Police.
Yeah,
Like, I know.
the manual
Yeah,
goalies is like a big thing because I think that it was again designed to help the casual player get into being a goaltender, and I can respect that because it's kind of complicated to learn from like from when you first start playing. I haven't played goalie since like NHL 19, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, like the competitive people were upset about it, and like the casual player base is like this is like not like I don't understand. And
goalies have a lot of work.
yeah, and again, this is their first year putting all this new stuff in. I think that
The
this,
flopping stuff though, I told you this as a goalie, and I'd love to go get my stuff and do the goofy thing I did last time. But it's like it's the thing where if you're making like so if you're shooting on me and I make like a kick save, I'm not and the rebound shoots out there. My first instinct's not to like dive over. It's to turn and then either power push over or turn and get up and T push. It's not like I'd say the diving animation should be more of like a okay, you shoot it from the point, it hits off a guy's butt, it hits off a guy's shin guard, ends up back door, and holy crap, it's right there, and then dive over. Not for every simple routine kick save dive. No, it
it's the
should be
yeah, it's the point shots or the shots from far out where you go low far side.
Right.
and it triggers it almost
It
every
should be a
time.
last minute, like, holy crap, I gotta just I mean, I did it in my men's league game on Thursday night. Like there was a broken play and I'm caught and I know the only I'm just I didn't make the save. It didn't go in. It was just like but that was my only thinking in my brain. It's like almost like Tim Thomas
Yeah,
hockey.
yeah, yeah.
Or Dominic Hasek. It's just
And
throw
and
everything at
maybe the finished product will be a little bit more reined in about that, and also the ratings. That's another issue with with it
right.
being
It's
hut, right?
frustrating.
Is that we have no idea how much ratings played into that, because you got McDavid, who's like a 99, playing against a majority of cards that are like in the mid 80s, right? It's like, which is why I wish it was versus. You get a way better look at it. But I'm happy that they they tried or they helped us out. What did you think of moments?
I like that it ends
Yeah,
like when you're
yeah,
done.
yeah. You're not an offline guy, so like it doesn't pertain to you. But
Well,
like,
I
yeah,
mean,
like
I would do I mean, I did a lot more challenges last year because there was a lot more that I don't know if it was like Hawk or Moose or whoever it is that would do those like that they would make it more I think just turned on. They'd make it like more like wild, I guess, or like more worthwhile to you to do
yeah.
them. So, um, just
I like the
doing
opening cinematic
yeah,
and like I think they were well done. The fact that like I did the Makar one where it's his first goal in the playoffs or whatever, and it like has every single player that was on the
yeah,
Flames. Like it was just
yeah,
it was a nice touch. Like, and again, I think that hockey fans are traditionalists. They want like the not like the actual, like, as long as they're in detail but all that. That's pretty sick. I like that. And I hope the live team can keep that up. Um, we'll see. I again, I went through, dude. This is gonna be a hot take. This is probably the hottest take that I have in terms of like the issues with the game right now and Hockey Ultimate Team specifically. Is that we are not? I think I've talked about this before on here, maybe not, but we have an issue with Hockey Ultimate Team where we're only playing it for the rewards. You mentioned that you didn't like playing, you didn't really feel like playing it because you're not gonna get, it's all gonna reset and you don't want to play it anymore. Like there's nothing to play
yeah.
for essentially, right?
You're
And,
building your team. That's
yeah,
just
exactly. You're building your
yeah,
team, but if it's not, that's why Versus is dead. Legitimately, because the
right.
majority of the player base and people want to work towards something as opposed to just load in, have fun, and like try and win a game in Versus. And we're at a point now with Hockey Ultimate Team where it's like we need better rewards. And if they give us better rewards in 2 months, we need better rewards. And all that we're doing is we're bandaging a issue that is not fixing the actual problem in game. So I saw a lot of people be like, moments are cool, but it's all going to depend on the rewards that we get from it. And while I think rewards are an important part of it because that makes it Hockey Ultimate Team, stuff like moments, if you were to be like design offline challenges perfectly, moments is it. Like what they've done so far is essentially the perfect way to do it. It tracks like the you're player locked on some of them apparently, and things like that. Like that is how you make that mode as good as possible to actually have fun playing the game, because we're playing a video game. If you are just chasing rewards, if you are just playing the game to chase rewards, that is a job. You've literally just defined employment. Like that is the issue with gaming, not just in the NHL community or the video game. But like if you are playing, if you're like, oh, I gotta play my 50 rivals games. Why? So that I can get my packs pay and try and get stuff and get cooler and buy cooler things, which is using your paycheck to buy things. Right? And then just around and around it goes. You don't want to go to work, but you'll do it because you're okay with the rewards, right? It's the only way to get paid. Whereas, like, what if Rivals was just fun? And they focused on making the mode fun. If your dopamine hit comes from the actual video game what you're playing, then everything else, it trickles down to everything else. And then the rewards, you have to matter. But it's frustrating. So like the moments thing, I hope the rewards are good. I don't think they have to go crazy on them. I think like the number one thing, first of all, it's not for everyone. It's for offline players, right? But I think when you think of what does a hut offline player have to do, and it's like squad battles. That is the
Yeah.
worst gaming experience that you could have. Like I don't know how people just play squad battles. That is go play franchise mode. You'll get more out of it. I swear. Like I don't know how, but there's people that just do squad battles. Now you have moments, and at least like that's got to be fun for offline players because it's like they're well done, they're put together. Some of them are challenging. Like that's another thing. So if the rewards are cool, my hope is that we have an event. Let's say the event format stays the same, right? And there's 8 MSPs or whatever it is. And if there is not a moment for every MSP, I don't know what the point of adding moments in was. That's unfortunate because then you're not making it. You're not using the system that you have developed to its fullest force. My biggest fear is that it's like every month and a half we get like a new 5 moments. Like that's a fear I have. Whereas, okay, you have a new, the Spotlight Johnny Gaudreau or what? No, bad example. You have Sidney Crosby's Nations of Hockey card, and it's like if the challenge isn't like you're in overtime against Team USA, Ryan Miller's in net, and you've got to score a goal, player lock to Sidney Crosby, that's a massive failure. Like that's a massive failure, right? So, but like then go one step further. When you complete that moment, they should just give you the lowest form of the Master Set player. That is
Yeah.
how we should be able to earn the Master Set player item. And if you don't want to do that, then you can still use collectibles, a few of them, and make the first tier of the Master Set player. Because if that isn't the case, then that's a big, big, big drop. Unfortunate part of the game. I don't think they need to give out massive pack rewards and stuff like that because that's just pertaining to people like online players when Hut Moments is not meant for you, right? Which is why I think that Rivals and other things like that, other online modes, really need a lot of work because they're not fun to play. You're just playing them to play them, right?
Was why do you think? I mean, I have two questions, but one of them to pertain to this. Why do people play offline hunt? Like, I get like offline like franchise mode. What do you think that like? Do you think it's like they don't want to pay for like Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, or do you think it's like they like just hate online? I'm like curious. Like now that I think about it, like you because you're saying like the hunt offline, but I never knew that even existed. Like
Fosto.
because it's like oh, I guess, but he like I think he enjoys tweeting it though too. Like you know what I
Well,
mean?
I
Like
mean that's part of it. He's passionate about the mode, but like it's
I don't know if he's gonna tweet it. He says it every year that he might come back and he'll come back and then,
he like I think where the offline player gets their enjoyment is one.
for just fun. I mean,
I don't
not
mean to be I
franchise
don't mean to
mode.
be scientific, but when you play a
Yeah,
video game, it's an escape. So first of all,
yeah,
like you're escaping whatever stresses that you have in life. That's why you watch TV. That's why you play video games. But more on that is that you're looking for the dopamine kick. So right now in Hockey Ultimate Team, there's really one of two ways to get a dopamine kick. One, win a game. Two, open a pack and get a purple. But it's not even the opening of the packs where you get your dopamine kick. It's the hope of that you pulling it, right? So when you play offline hut, you're building your team in the way that you want, like you would online. And those people that play online don't want to go in and put in the time to get better online because they don't enjoy it. So like offline players can play like a real game of hockey. They just shoot. Like really what happens in real hockey is you're just shooting from anywhere, right?
yeah.
And that mimics hockey more than what you play when you're in Division 2 or Division 3. It's like you've got to play the way that, the game is designed for that. So that's where I think it is. But squad battle people alone, like I had a really good, well, I think I had a really good idea where I said make squad battles franchise mode. Franchise mode in NHL is actually not that bad compared to other game sports games modes. There's a lot that could be added to it, but in terms of other franchise modes, NHL's isn't that bad. And I think that a really cool thing would be like squad battles is like mini seasons in MLB, where it's like you've got a 16 game regular season, you make the playoffs, right? You've got a 14 playoff, and every time let's say you win, you make the playoffs, or you win a series, and then you win the cup. Let's say you start with 10 cards that are all flipped over. You have no idea what they are. And every time you do something, you can flip one of the cards over. And in one of these cards is a purple card, a purple pull. You don't know what it is, right? But then imagine if you grinded squad battles a ton and your coach card wasn't some random thing for synergies. It was like you. And it's like the more you play, the more features that you can unlock in the coach card. Imagine you played so much squad battles, you did well enough that you unlocked like +1 scouting or you unlocked scouting. And it's like you start a squad battle season with a card automatically flipped over. You get an extra one. Like that would be engaging. That is taking in all the offline things that players that are offline that enjoy playing in franchise mode into Hockey Ultimate Team. Like I think like when you do things like that, then you make the mode less like I got to do my chores to I want to sit down and play Rivals because it's fun, or I want to sit down and play squad battles because I seriously enjoy it. But when you catch yourself being like, man, I didn't get any rewards, that was a waste of time. That's a problem. That isn't a reward problem. That is the game that you are playing is not sufficient enough to be enjoyable, and you're just going to a job, which sucks. Like you might as well be streaming or trying to make content because then at least you're getting paid for it or like you're earning something, right? I tell it all the time. Like if you play 2,000 games in a year and you are not streaming or making TikToks or making a YouTube channel, then you are. I feel bad for you because if you have the ability to play 2,000 games in a year, then you probably don't have a full time job or there's something else going on, right? That you might people would actually watch players that have the ability to play that. Even if you don't find yourself entertaining, you don't have to stream with a camera on, but people will listen to your opinion because you have the ability to put 2,000 hours in, right? And it's like, that's tough. And you can't be enjoying the game because the game isn't designed to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's not, so I don't know.
I always just with my rewards, I get like silver or bronze, I think it is, like rivals, because I hate playing rivals, and because I just feel like there's nothing to it really. It's
So,
just
but
like okay,
first month of the year, you're gonna grind rivals.
well, because there's nothing else. Like there, you can't even play hut champs.
Well, listen to what you said there. You're going to play the only online mode because
yeah,
you
well,
have to.
Play, right.
That
Right.
is the biggest issue. The
Well, I'm
rewards in
saying in
HUT.
order to play online, yeah.
Yeah, but rewards in HUT are not the biggest issue, which is a massive take. And I'm not saying that rewards aren't important because they are. You need to be rewarded sufficient enough for X amount of time, which is why we need to be giving guaranteed rewards as opposed to just here's some hope, right?
The rewards I always like, okay, I'm getting my whatever, let's say 2 packs, I'm making up a number, and then I'm like, I'm gonna get my hut champs packs. But it's just like I hate how in this game and it just feels like okay, there's like 2 days of the week I'm gonna get my rewards basically. You know what I'm saying? Or like because like rivals ends on I don't remember like what day you get your rewards.
Tuesday night, Tuesday 5 p.m.
So then you get your rewards like on like whatever
Wednesday.
time, and then same thing with hut champs, you get your rewards like it's like a set thing. The thing I love about like, and I hate to be like oh about MLB, but it's like MLB, it's like there's always like you could get because like the XP path, they're like there's always like this rewards popping up every single day, any time of the day. If you grind a bunch in one day, you might get 30 packs, and maybe another day you get 2 packs. Like,
I think it's
just constant. You're getting stuff always. Even when you lose a game, you get a random reward every time the game's over. Or, you know what I mean? Like it's just there's so much more rewards, even if it's just crappy fodder, right? Because it just feels like you're always getting something. You know what I mean?
They definitely need to implement some sort of XP path or something for sure. Like I think that one of the bigger issues is like squad battles is the best rewards. It literally has the best rewards of all of online web because you get guaranteed coins on top of packs. Like coins is what you should be taking in rivals every time, but there is no fun in that. That is the absolute definition of a job. You play rivals to get rewards and you take coins. Like that is legitimately taking your paycheck. You're getting your paycheck. And then going into opening if you take packs, that's just gambling. You're taking your paycheck and going to the casino.
Yeah.
Right? And you'd obviously much rather go to the casino in that aspect because you have your shot at hitting it big, right? But if you were to honestly add it all up, taking your rewards and coins, if you hit like diamond or whatever in Division 1 or 2, you'd make way more money by just taking your coins, but that's brutal. I think that's something that needs to be implemented is like an XP path in NHL would allow us to, what if I am an offline player? Okay, play offline. You're earning towards the XP path. What if I don't want to play squad battles? You don't have to play squad battles because you earn the same amount of rewards or the XP path while playing rivals or online. And like that's where I think it should go. I think that the issue is the NHL forces you to just play the game, forces you to play modes and things that you don't want to play, but you need the rewards. And that's a bigger issue. That's where my take is like, not that we don't need better rewards. We need guaranteed rewards. We definitely need guaranteed rewards. I need to know that if I do this, I'm going to get X. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully.
I don't know. It wasn't you, I don't think, but maybe I heard somebody else say it. Like, and I don't think this was like leaking information or anything, but the hut champs. Someone said I thought I heard somebody say, or maybe it was on the Henry thing or like podcast. I don't know. They said that hut champs rewards are going to be back to where like you still get like your packs and stuff, but they're going to bring back cards.
I don't think so. I haven't heard that.
Like not like yes they had hut
like
champs
guaranteed
cards,
like a guaranteed card like it
like
used
a
to
guaranteed card, like instead of doing the set. I mean that only pertains I know to like whatever amount of people.
5 people, yeah. I don't think so. I don't know. I personally haven't seen that.
Okay,
I don't even know if I would like. I know they got away from that because they were trying to like be like the best players in the world have such a significant advantage over like the casual player, and they're like trying to like you're making the best player even better by giving them like a jacked up card, right? And I wish the player base was big enough where it didn't matter, right? But you're matching up against a lot of these guys that you know now, So I don't know.
I did like the aspect of it. It felt like almost like a flex thing though,
Well,
but
yeah,
it
because you can get top 10 and I can get top 500 and get better rewards.
right. And I did like because it almost reminded me of like I was telling you like how they should have like monthly banners or whatever in your arena, and you come in and it's like oh like
Oh, vanity stuff needs to be added. I said something like, now with Objectives 2.0, which I think is going to be sick. I think it's like a little bit overlooked, but Objectives 2.0 looks to be really, really good. Like it allows them to do things where content is far more engaging. So for anyone that doesn't know, Objectives 2.0 is like in Objectives, the first edition of Objectives was play games with event cards, and that was really all they could do. So like all the milestones and things like that, it was like, or the event milestones, it was like play X amount of games with these cards, and it's like okay, so you throw the event cards in your lineup, and it's like whatever. But Objectives One, it's like score 40 goals with Johnny Gaudreau's spotlight card, which is far better because now it's like every time Johnny Gaudreau's in the ice, like oh shit, I got to score with them. Like that's cool. Like, and the more they can do with that, the better I think. Um, I would love to see it where it's like if you scored 800 online goals. No, that's a bad example. Maybe 800 goals with one player. Like break Wayne Gretzky's record, 870 or whatever it is, right? You broke that record, gold stick. Like that card gets a gold stick, you know? Like I think that'd be sick, or like gold skates or something. Like
well it wouldn't be gold and Gretzky, it'd be the shiny silver Easton.
yeah, exactly. Like imagine, but then like that's like a sick flex that you can just work towards and
Yeah,
earn, right?
that'd be
Like
cool.
the custom arena again is like another big thing. I'm not big on custom jerseys,
No.
simply because again, as a traditional hockey fan, I hate when you mess with NHL jerseys, and I think a lot of them look lame. Not that like the creativity isn't there; it's just like in game it doesn't look good if it's not like the like the legit jerseys, whether it be lighting and textures and all that. But like the arena should be customizable. And then you should unlock that stuff by performing well, right? Like I think that'd be like an easy way to go. Like the play of the month jerseys are kind of sick. Stuff like that. You put that in game, like that'd be cool. I wish I didn't really get to play World of Shell a lot. I didn't at
I
all.
heard Polg's top sixes guy and a few others they were complaining to me about it. I know that they
Gameplay, I guess, is not.
yeah, I mean it's dramatic stuff always like oh where's sixes at it's like but it's they weren't happy about it, but I don't know if it's like we said I don't know if it's just a beta, so it's like I don't know like how much to take it with a grain of salt or not, but yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. I saw when the full pressure thing came back, and we didn't talk about L2. Some people
Oh
are saying like L2. There is some times where you can get L2 to work, but it is drastically reduced, like
yeah.
drastically, and I enjoyed that. I
Yeah.
found that like I used it as a crutch a lot to protect the puck. Like what I would used to
Mhm.
do is hold X or A and then hit L2, so you put your butt towards the net and stop up along the boards, and I would protect the puck. And I can't do that. I'm like, oh no, so I gotta send it around or cycle the puck, and it's like it forces you to do that. I think that's something we talked about earlier. Is like, yeah, like the total control system gives the ability to players that wouldn't have the normal ability to do some of these dekes and stuff, but it just takes the deking out of it because it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels less in control. The fact that you can't string together dekes very well is like another issue
Yeah.
when hitting the buttons, right? Like, so I don't know. Like, it's odd. I don't know. I'll never use the other dekes other than the Michigan.
I don't mind too. I was thinking this too. Like, if the Michigan's is easy or not easy, I guess, or but like if it's as frequent as it is right now, if it was in the game for the guys that have like skilled up or like the guys that have hit it in real life. So like
I
Philip,
think it is easier to do right
yeah,
now.
like Philip
Um,
Forsberg and Streshnikov and whoever else. You know what I'm saying? Like go down the list of guys that are Zegras, like all those guys that have hit it in real life, and it's only like five guys. So it's like I wouldn't mind if it was like a thing where it like we and you we only use like certain guys because they had truculence or because they had like so and I know it's kind of gimmicky but it's
that would be cool.
that would
No,
make
that makes team building more interesting.
right it makes it more realistic. I mean I'll be honest with you, if it's as easy as the hit it is right now with just the Y button I'll put those guys in my team because
I mean,
why
that's what
not like
Kesso did because Kesso could actually hit it.
Yeah,
right? But with Zegers, it was like way easier.
especially on the power play. Like you have so much time and space, you could just sit behind the net and just like, all right, fine, you leave it open, sweet, boom, goal.
No, I agree. I agree. I think that would be kind of cool. Um, I scored one timers, which was cool.
Yeah,
Like D to
no,
D's,
yeah,
like D to D's worked.
it felt good to be able to do that again. The
Screening a
and my
goalie too. I could corner when someone was screened, which was nice.
yeah, the forces is what scares me. Is just because right now it's pretty bad. Like you can just cock it and go down and like right through, and
I
it's
don't know if this is a server thing or not. So I play a specific region of the player base.
northeast, right?
No, like Quebec,
Or
and
Quebec server, yeah.
I it was the only games where I had that goal given up again, where you just skate straight past the goal line and blindly pass it through the slot, even if you have a guy there, and it would get through. And my goalie would just hug the bar and stand up, which is just like I'm not like
No, it's
not
good.
you know what I mean? It's like oh my god. And I only saw it against Quebec players, and that's not to say that they're just the ones doing it, but like didn't see it at all elsewhere. Like, and I felt intercepts were okay. You also had a bad team. Like, so the guys that you were playing had like 99 passing or whatever. So
Right.
like that might play into it. But yeah, we'll
Um,
see.
do we want to talk about because I probably brought it up last podcast about the Xbox and PlayStation differences at all?
God, I hate this because
I want to
I think this is
I want to
placebo.
I want so for people out there, this is weird too. I will say this. Back when I used to play like a lot more, and I played back and forth because I played money games on both consoles. This will be like the end of our podcast. We'll get into this to end it. But I used to notice the difference on PlayStation and Xbox. Xbox had more bumps. PlayStation was more smooth, more poke checky. This is on PS4 and Xbox One. Then you go to the new console or the newer consoles in quotations, um, and it's still the same way, but it's weird because PS5 looks way better than Xbox, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, like the coloring or whatever the case is. A lot of people on MLB The Show. This is the other game I play, so it's the only way I can have like to judge it. I don't ask Madden people this or NBA people this, but a lot of people on MLB The Shows, like the top players, and you know this because you've been covering some of the tournaments. They only have the tournaments on PlayStation 5, but all the competitive players when they're playing Diamond Dynasty, which is their version of HUT, they're all playing Xbox because they say the response time's better, the just all that stuff's way better. I'll say this past year, there's a bunch of top players that like nerd out to play, like he said, like 2,000 games, that kind of thing. They all say the same kind of thing this past year. Saphir, top player, game changer, whatever content, I don't know whatever it's called, design council. He put out a tweet. It was like 14-6 on PS5. Majority of the losses were to Xbox players. 18-1 on Xbox S/Series S. He plays on a Series S. He's like, I was going to play NHL 24 on PS5, but I'm heavily reconsidering now. I actually DM'd him and asked him that, like what he was thinking about it, and he replied back to me that basically, it's just he feels like the Xbox kids are more agile. The LTing is better on Xbox. Like it's more like crispy said. He's like, it's just strange how he's like, I play like he used Worthy on PlayStation. He said twice the other day. He says I win 3-2, lose 4-1. Play him on Xbox. He's like I DNF him, and he's like it was weird last year. He's like I did the same thing. He was always a PS player, and he said he would like struggle versus like certain guy or like be tight games on PlayStation. And lay out last year, he's like I'm on Xbox, like I'm pounding these guys. And there was a significant even Kesso, rest in peace, Kesso. We need you back. But Kesso would always say he was, how frustrated he got last year in the beginning. He's like, there is something different about this, and he's like, I'm turning off crossplay, like I'm sick of it, and he just felt like
Place
it is a placebo thing. I mean, most likely, but you know what? The only thing I told you, this last thing I'll say, the last thing I'll hold on to is back when Ben Ross was like on the thing, whatever he did. Uh, I used to message him and I'm like, there's a difference. There's a difference. He's like, no, there's not a difference. There's not a difference. Then like randomly one night he like DM'd me and was like, hey, we found something. You're right. There is some difference. I can't remember like what it was exactly. Like the I could go back to my DMs and look, but they found a difference, and he's like, we just missed it or something like that. So he just said like they fixed it and they corrected it, and this was like on the old consoles, not on these. So I don't know. It is weird and it's tough because it's like we have crossplay, okay, but if people on Xbox feel like or people on PlayStation feel like these people on Xbox are having some sort of advantage, I don't, and it's weird. Like last year with the GWC, it's like you have 7 of the 8 guys from Xbox. I don't know. It's just weird. Like I wish we could have something that they could like prove me wrong completely. But until there's like 100% definitiveness, I'll still always have like a little tinfoil hat to
I
it, maybe.
I think that well, no, there was definitely something on PS5 last year in crossplay. Like I don't know what it is with the NHL video game, but I get so much input lag just in the menus if your controller isn't plugged in directly. And I
Like
don't
that's
even know. I
weird.
don't understand why. And I, but like, if you, here's a perfect way to test this, guys. If you're playing NHL 23 still, leave your controller, like plugged in, and go to the just the main menus of the game and use it. You'll see how responsive it is. Unplug it, wait like 10 minutes, and then try and use it. And it's like almost a half second, and it's like,
Really?
what in the world? So if you're playing
Wow.
the game, yeah, like so, input delay in NHL is so fast. Like the game is so fast, you can't. Now, I noticed it a lot when, even if I was plugged in when I was playing Xbox users early on in the year. So I just turned it off. A majority of the PlayStation players just turned it off. I think it has more to do with the server you are connecting to your connection to the server than it does actual player, like the actual consoles. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know how it would
It's
be
so hard.
different.
I know.
Yeah, and there's no way to quantify it, right? So,
It's tough. I don't know. Like I don't. I'm not like a big
because
time level.
I think that when you're playing on Xbox, it feels clunky.
Yeah, that's. I've always said the same thing. Like you can bump it, it feels clunkier, but it looks better on PlayStation. It feels smooth. It. I don't know. I have no clue. It's the weirdest thing. I'm not a big like tech person, so I know like Xbox has like more like teraflops or something. Like I don't even know
Yeah,
what that means. But it's like some of that stuff like I don't even know because like Sap Alien like tweeted me he's like, oh, it's because Xbox did this, and it's like, well, whatever. I don't care. The reason why I don't like the Xbox controllers because it has those stupid ribs around the sticks, and when you smash up on the left stick all
yeah, dude, it
day,
gives you enough. Yeah, dude.
it's your freaking cows. But anyways, whatever.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting
It
because
is.
I've been
We'll
telling
have to
you.
watch and like we'll have to play too. I played a lot of Xbox guys, and I didn't. I mean,
Are
maybe I
you
did.
playing both this year, like
No,
consoles?
I just played one, dude. Once crossplay
Okay.
came in, I hate Xbox. I just hate the
Yeah.
Xbox console. I hate the
Yeah.
PS5 console. To be honest with you, I think that this generation of consoles are absolutely awful. But
Dude, it's such a lame duck. Like, however many years it's gonna be. Like, what? Until they have new ones, like till PS6 or whatever. It's gonna be like what is it, 6, 7, 8 years?
yep.
It's like because of
Oh, dude,
COVID and
like
everything.
2000. No, I think like 2026 there'll be a new console.
Seriously.
Yeah, like I think
Wow.
PS6 is like in development, and
Yeah.
we'll have like on this generation of consoles, we'll have NHL for like the next 10 years. So, but anyways, that was episode 73 of Coffee and Shell. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some more info. We'll see if we get some more info throughout the week of NHL 24. Let us know what you think about the technical test if you were to play it in the comments section. See you guys next week. Have a good one.